What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Boost Feed. Today I'm going to be telling you why I chose a catted downpipe over Catless. All these prior videos that I have on my channel were with a Catless downpipe. I had an NVIDIA Catless. It was great. I loved it. It sounded super cool. The pops were super sharp. The backfires were hard. Spool was super loud. I loved everything about it. But what comes with living in a populated city such as Denver or other cities like California, there's really strict emissions regulations. Now, a rule was set in a few years ago that tuners weren't allowed to tune Catless vehicles since being Catless is illegal. Since being Catless is illegal, they made it so there was a huge fine. If a tuner tunes someone who's Catless, they get fined something like $4,000 or $5,000. It's a super heavy fine because they're trying to limit the amount of people running Catless downpipes because, you know, it's illegal and it's not good for the environment. Still trying to get used to this clutch. So with everything being super strict and basically being illegal, one, I had to pass emissions, which I still need to do, and two, I couldn't find a single tuner who was willing to tune my Catless downpipe. Now, as much as I wanted to run a Catless downpipe for as long as I could, I needed to get a tune for it so that the car ran healthy. So with no one willing to tune it, I decided I may as well just go with a catted downpipe. Plus, with emissions coming up, I figured it'd probably just be easier if I could just get a catted downpipe, throw it on, and easily pass emissions without too much hassle. Now, not only did I just put in a catted downpipe, I also threw on a Cobb uppipe. Now, the stock one was already Catless, but kind of thin. It wasn't very big, so kind of restricting in terms of airflow. So the Cobb one is much bigger in diameter. It allows for better spool, quicker spool. You can definitely notice a difference. It's not super noticeable, but there is a difference for sure, which is good. Now, with the catted downpipe, it's definitely quieter, which sucks because I love my car super loud, but it's definitely quieter. The spool's not quite as loud. You can still hear it. It's still pretty loud, but not quite as loud. But it's definitely more tame. The car is definitely more not as aggressive, which, depending what you're going for, it can be good or bad. For me, kind of not the best. I like my car super aggressive. I loved the car when it was super loud. The pops aren't as big. They're not as sharp. It doesn't backfire as hard. It used to just, you know, coming down in the rev range at about 2 to 2.5, somewhere between there, it would just backfire and pop super loud. I loved it. But now it doesn't really do that. It does, but it's very light. It's super tame, which sucks. The car does feel like it's running kind of smoother though. I think the ECU is definitely used to having a cat in the car. So the car does seem to be more happy with the catted downpipe in. I need gas. So if you clicked on this video wondering whether you should go Catless or catted, I think it really depends on where you live and what kind of goals you're going for. If you live in a non-populated state where there's no emission regulations, it's totally fine to run Catless. You can find a tuner that's willing to tune it, I say go for it. Or if you're running a 2J or a high horsepower motor that you want as much horsepower out of it as possible, go Catless. If you're running a daily driver where it's going to be driven to and from work every single day or to and from wherever you need to go, I'd say probably go catted. As much fun as it is to be Catless, I think it's probably better to go catted in terms of regulations, emissions, it not being illegal. And again, the big thing for me was the tune. There's loopholes that you can get around in terms of emissions. I'm not going to say them, but there are loopholes that you can get around it. If you live in a state that requires heavy emissions, there's loopholes to get around that and be able to still run Catless with passing emissions. But the tune was the big thing for me because I wanted this car to run healthy, run smooth. But without a tune, that's just unsafe. It's not really good for the motor. Boost creep's always a problem. So I don't know if you've noticed, but in all the videos where I had the Catless downpipe, I never got into boost. They were all just me cruising lightly because I didn't want to go on it too hard. Even when I had the old clutch on where I could, if I wanted to, I could have gone on into boost without hurting the clutch. So really, the main reason I went with a catted downpipe and I took off my Catless was because of emissions and tuning. If emissions wasn't a problem and I could find someone that could easily tune it, no problem, like no fine involved whatsoever, I would stick with Catless 100%. But with all the emissions regulations and them cracking down on tuners, no one really wants to tune them and risk getting that fine. So really, it's a safe option to just go with a catted downpipe. There it is, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. That's really the main reason why I took off my Catless downpipe and I threw on a catted. It sucks having it not be as aggressive, but I think overall it's probably for the better. I don't plan on selling my Catless downpipe. I would love to throw it on someday. Maybe when I'm older, maybe when I move to somewhere where it's not that big of a deal for emissions purposes. I don't plan on selling it. I'm gonna keep it. It will get thrown on someday. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, make sure to comment below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.